Okay, welcome back. So we have just kind of walked through this first part here, and I wanted to show you kind of how I want you to do this on your own section, okay? So with the on your own section, I'm going to ask you to go to File, New File, and go to New R Markdown. Now when you do this for the very first time on your computer, R might ask you to install some stuff. So you're gonna have to say yes, go ahead and install that stuff. So you go ahead and click New R Markdown, or you can click this little drop down and select just R Markdown here. And it's gonna give you a few different options. We're gonna just go with Document. I'm gonna go ahead with Word, and the title I'm gonna just say Lab 1, and I'm gonna go ahead and create that. And so this go ahead, creates the document here, and obviously you'll update it with your name and the date and whatnot. And it starts off with all of this gibberish and stuff here, okay? So I'm going to probably, let me just show you what happens is you can just click knit, and what this will do is it will, actually I'm going to put this onto my desktop, and I'm going to call this Lab 1 and click Save. So the first time you click knit, it will ask you to save it somewhere, and here I'm just going to save it to my desktop. And it runs, and when it's done, it produces a file. How do I... It produces a Word document that you can then go in and make further changes and whatnot if you need to. And one thing that it does is it includes kind of the text that is written there, and it also includes some code input and output. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just go ahead and delete most of the stuff that appears here. Okay. And it starts off with R Markdown, and I'm going to change the first heading. I would just leave this stuff here, and I'm going to just say kind of call this one question 1. And for the sake of this thing, so what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to load in this data present. I'm going to continue working with Arbuthnot just so you can so I don't give away the answers to the answer to these things, but the first one says what years are included in this data set, what are the dimensions. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just copy that text right here to question 1. Okay, and if I were to just click knit right now, I would get a Word document that just says Lab 1, my name, and question 1, and the text that I copied into it. So what we want to do is we want to be able to answer this question. Okay, and to answer this question, I want you to include the appropriate R code. Okay, and so in the R Markdown document, I'm going to come up here, right here, where it says Insert, and you have these different options, and I'm just going to click Insert R. Okay, and this will insert what's called an R code chunk. It's got these little tick marks up here and down here, and this indicates kind of the beginning and end of the code, right? And it tells me that I want to enter the source. Here I'm going to just write the source of the Arbuthnot dataset. So I'm going to go ahead. I know I told you to write these things out, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to include this command right here for the Arbuthnot dataset. And all this does is, if you remember when we ran it in the console, all it did was load up the data set into R. Okay, and so if I want to, so if I ran this here, it just loads it up into R, and then if I want to find out what years are included in this data set, I would just type in the name of the data set, and it would print out the entire data set into the console window. Okay, and so if I typed in that same command here, and then I clicked knit, what it would do is it would load up the data, and then it would print out the entire data set into my Word document, which is probably not what I want, okay? But it's as if I typed in the Arbuthnot command into the console window, and it produces this. And this is not a pleasant thing to have in your lab document, so please don't do something like this, okay? But what we can do is instead I can just kind of say, well, let's do Arbuthnot $year, and this is a little bit more compact, and we can see, oh, it goes from 1629 to 1710. So I can just type in Arbuthnot $year, and because of the console window, I can say, all right, the data set includes the years from 1629 to 1710. Okay. And if I click knit, then we can see this renders. Now you don't have to continually knit after every single time you update your thing, but I'm just demonstrating how it looks on my computer when I do this. Right? And then the next part says, what are the dimensions of the data frame and what are the variable or column names? Okay. Now to answer this, the way we did this was we typed in dim Arbuthnot, and we got 82.3, and we asked for names of Arbuthnot, and we got year, boys, girls. So what I want to do is I want to basically type in these two commands into my R Markdown document. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to click Insert R again, and it's going to give me a place to insert some commands, and I'm going to type in dim Arbuthnot, names Arbuthnot, and I'm going to say the dimensions are 82 rows and 3 columns. The names of the columns are year, boys, and girls. Okay, and then I can, if I wanted to, I can click knit, and it will knit. Now you don't have to continually, again, you don't have to continually knit, but I just wanted to show you what this looks like. Okay, and so here it shows the code output to kind of verify that these indeed are the values that appear. Okay, the next question 2, is how do these counts compare to Arbuthnot's and whatnot? And you know, so to answer that, you can type in pound question 2, and you can copy in and you can put in the appropriate code chunk. Well, here there's no code chunk necessary, because you would just kind of say, you know, Arbuthnot's data set had 82 rows, and the present data set has blah 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 blah, and you would answer it there. Okay, and then the next part, question 3, it says make a plot that displays the boy to girl ratio for every year in the data set. What do you see? Does Arbuthnot's observation about boys being born in greater proportion than girls hold up in the US? Include the plot in your response. Okay, so we'll copy and paste the text for question 3 here, and then if you want to include a plot, it's much like the same. You just type in insert an R code chunk, and then here the command that we used to type in plot our we had X was Arbuthnot $year, and then if I just want Y to be this is not the correct plot here, but if I just did boys and I did type equals L, R will include the plot. And if I wanted a second plot for boys and for girls, we can do this. Probably we would need to do something for the ratio, Arbuthnot $boys divided by Arbuthnot $boys plus girls, and I have to put this in parentheses, so the proportion. And then, so this, because I got 3 plot commands, this would produce 3 different plots. I typed in something here. Yeah, that's fine. We'll go ahead and create this in our Word document, and we can see the plots being produced. So each command gets printed along with the corresponding plot, and you would go in and you would answer the question accordingly. Okay. So start by you got to make sure you include kind of the source in here and see it go. All right. So go ahead and I wish you good luck in working through this. And I hope everything works out. If you have problems or whatnot, don't hesitate to send me an email or come visit office hours, and we'll see you guys in a few days. Okay, thank you.